Hello, I'm Whitney,
And I'm Courtney.
and we are the Witch Source. Thank you for being with us here today as we talk about the air element and air magic.
Yes.
I'm going to pop in the group so that I don't miss any comments. There we go.
Air magic. What sign are you?
I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a fire sign.
All right. So, and I'm not an air sign either. I'm a Pisces. But for those of you who are Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, you are a member of the air group. Yay.
Yes. And since we've been doing the different elements and briefly touching on some of the zodiacs, we've had a request to go through and do episodes on each zodiac sign. So we will be doing that. Hey, Monica. We'll be doing that probably starting in October. And we'll do them as we move through the zodiac. So it might take us, obviously a year to get to them all, but it is something that we will add in.
Right.
As we go along. So, but today we're just focusing on air itself. So I've got lots of stuff to mention here. So yes, talking about the zodiac signs, it's the Libra, the Aquarius, and the Gemini. And you guys, I am outside because I thought that fitting to be out in the fresh air. So if you hear outdoorsy background noise, it's just all part of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and my daughter is an Aquarius, and yours is as well.
Yeah.
So we deal with the air element on the daily.
This is true. And, I think we've had this discussion before where, she may be air, but everyone else in our household is a water symbol. And, Aquarius is the water bearer.
Right.
And I really do feel it fitting because there are a lot of times where she does take care of us. She is very much a nurturer, nurturing, and just takes it on herself to, oh my gosh, my parents don't know what they're doing. And, so I have to take care of them.
Right. Really funny.
It is.
So going with these air signs. So the Libra is considered air and early movement. So that would be more associated with the beginning and the starting of ideas and projects. That's more of your Libra energy. Aquarius is air that has stalled over the earth. So Aquarius is more of that lingering, steady, still, wants things to be a certain way because that's what they're accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's definitely fitting.
Oh, yeah.
And then Gemini is air that changes direction. So you can kind of think of it as Gemini is always in that state of changing and moving direction. And that goes along with like the winds of change.
I can see that. My ex was a Gemini, and he's an ex for a reason.
Here's just a little too much changing air for your water.
So much so that was a whole, and I'm not putting Geminis down, and I wouldn't do that, but everyone has their own personalities, their own traits, and that was just a whole lot of crazy that I had to get off that train.
Right, exactly. Yep. Hey, Erin. Thank you for, yes, my new hair color. I'm glad you like it. It's like a deep red, and then there's a little bit of blonde peekaboo highlights in here somewhere. So just something fun and different moving into fall because it's my favorite season.
Hmm.
Even though I have enjoyed summer, I am ready for some fall.
So, talking about, air signs and, the zodiac that goes along with them, it was really interesting because I saw one site mention that, the air signs are kind of the raven claws of the zodiac. And I thought that was neat how they
Okay.
tied Harry Potter into it. It said that and even cross-referencing with another site, it says that they're highly intelligent. Their symbolisms are intelligence, wisdom, knowledge, logical thoughts, communication, truth, inspiration, intuition, memory, and creativity. I'm like, what is that if not the epitome of a Ravenclaw? So I
Yeah,
thought,
that's cool.
for you Harry Potter fans.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that.
Hmm.
So, I, of course, have the Oracle deck by Raven Greenrossi, The Well-Worn Path, and
Hmm.
there is the air element in this deck. So I wanted to see what his um, meaning for that card was for air.
Hmm.
And the meaning is when this card appears, it addresses the process of transmitting and expanding. It speaks to the actions required to establish ideas and concepts in order to make them take form in the conscious mind. So it's basically speaking to air is a lot of times has to do with the mental and the
Hmm.
mental processes. And so those thoughts can then become form. And that's what this air element is all about. It's
Right.
that beginning to take shape and moving it out of this astral or mental plane into the physical realm,
Right.
and bringing that earth element in to make it reality. So I loved that he had that in there, and I wanted to share that little tidbit. Um,
Well, it goes hand in hand. I found that one of the biggest challenges for someone with an air sign is being overly mentally stimulated, and that
yeah,
they do have to ground themselves and create new ways to implement and to keep themselves focused, setting up the routines and, staying on top of their health, both physically and mentally.
yes,
So,
I actually have a whole section I want to talk about that because that's what we would consider an air block,
mhm,
having a block in that element within yourself, and anybody can have this type of a block, not just air signs. So we'll talk about if you have a lot of air in your chart, even if it's not, maybe in your main sign, you can still have a lot of air in your chart and what that can mean for you and look like and what challenges it can bring. Now, Silver Ravenwolf says, when we work with air, we think of the divine breath of spirit, the ability to move through space and time, and the wisdom that comes from experience and study.
mhm,
So I love that idea and that concept of with air, you do have that breath because that breath is so, so important. You know, the fastest way to die is to not be able to breathe,
right,
right? So you can go so long without water, you can go so long without food, you can only go a very short amount of time without air. So that breath of life, that divine breath of life, is very important. And I know, like in meditation, sometimes all you need to do to reset yourself is take that breath,
right,
that moment to breathe in that divine air, hold it, let it shift and change and transform, which is what air does, and then exhale out what you no longer need, what no
right.
longer serves you. So I thought that was a very interesting thing to share. So that also makes the air element an active and masculine principle because it
Yes.
is about that creative, and that change. Um, so the symbol for air is an upright triangle with an extra line at the bottom.
Hmm.
So just to touch on what that symbol looks like. Um, And so if we go back to looking at those three types based on the zodiac, like the three types of air, we can use air in the mental, astral, and physical realms, as we talked about with the zodiac.
Right.
And mental would be like the visualization, thinking things, having the ideas. And then taking things to the astral is a form of requesting the use of energy along with the thought. That's taking it to the astral to pull the energy in to make this thought. And then the physical is bringing that into reality. So some other things associated, with the element of air is communication and messages. That very much is a part of going through and working with the air element.
So speaking of air element, we can run through your great big list of stuff.
Okay, sure. Let's do that real quick. I have.
Oh, we've got some feedback on the mic. Do you know which one it is? Is it her or is it me? I know Whitney's got birds chirping in the background. And
I do, because I am outside.
Crickets and all the critters.
The crows have decided to say hello.
Right.
I don't know who it is.
I don't either.
Me? Okay, let me see if I can turn you down and see if that's better. Can you guys still hear me okay?
Okay. So, I mean, we kind of did quit talking.
Right.
So, I guess while you're adjusting, I can run through some things and then you can come back and hit them up.
Okay.
Okay.
I turned you down, so maybe there's not hearing so much. I just have to listen harder for you. So hopefully that helps.
All right. We'll get really, really close and then we can all see up your nose. Yeah, right. So
does that make a difference, you guys? Let us know.
The planets associated with air are Mercury and Jupiter. The timing is dawn. The season is spring. The direction is east. Yeah. Tarot card associated with it would be any of the wands or swords, depending on the tradition, but mainly wands.
I also have the Fool because
good.
of beginnings.
Right. So we discussed the zodiac and the symbolism, but the symbols for air are usually feathers, wands, staffs, incense, clouds, sky, anything having to do with wind chimes, wind or air or sky.
Right.
Deities that you can have are Zeus, Aradia, Nuit, Thoth, Urania, Cardia, Enlil, these are Hermes, Morgan, Mercury, Boreas, Notus, and Eurus.
Did you also say Thoth and Zeus?
I did get Thoth and Zeus.
Okay.
Nature spirits would be winged fairies, sprites, spirits, zephyrs.
You've also got elves, pixies, and sylphs.
Color. Random different websites combined together to it's like numerous. So, okay, Aaron asked, where am I pulling the information from? So it's going through like multiple websites and seeing what's the most common theme among all of them to try and get I wouldn't say most accurate, but the most hit on themes.
So the books I've talked and referenced so far is The Traveler's Guide to the Well-Worn Path by Raven Grimrossi, his card Air, that's in that deck. I've also talked briefly some of Book of Shadows, Solitary Witch by Silver Ravenwolf. For my correspondences, which are pretty much in line with what she's saying, is coming from the Complete Book of Correspondences by Llewellyn, published by Llewellyn. So I was going to let her finish running through what she has to say on the elements associations, and then I'll fill in the blanks.
All right. So colors: yellow, gold, white, light blue, pastels.
Okay, I've got light blue, gray, lavender, pink, red, silver, white, and yellow.
You have foods.
Foods. I have herbs and garden plants and trees, but not particularly foods. No.
Okay. Carbonated beverages, popcorn, lentils. I'm questioning the lentils and what that would. I mean, and it makes you gassy. So I guess I could see lentils. Um, Herbs, bergamot, lavender, marjoram, peppermint, sage, dandelion, bluebell, clover, frankincense, primrose, yarrow, violets, vervain. There's a lot of herbs. Pretty
And
much.
several of ours, because I've also got agrimony, lavender, sage, vervain, yarrow, and yeah,
Lemongrass.
frankincense, myrrh, nutmeg, mistletoe, sandalwood, clover, dandelion. So yeah, a lot of the same, and many of those are ones that we carry as well.
Pretty much throw something in your pantry and you're probably going to hit something that's associated with
Right.
air. So crystals and gemstones: amber, topaz, citrine, jasper, agate, pumice, alexandrite, amethyst, fluorite, mica, and clear quartz.
Also, blue lace agate, desert rose, opal, clear quartz, moldavite. I don't know if you said sodalite.
Mm-mm.
Celestite, blue topaz, and blue tourmaline.
And then animals would be birds, flying insects, spiders, and bats.
I've got fireflies,
Oh,
elk, falcon, and hawk.
yeah, I went with the general birds.
Yeah. Now mystical, yeah, most birds in general, pretty much. Now your mystical creatures are going to be the dragons, the sphinx, and the thunderbird. And it's also, of course, associated with the sense of smell.
I
And
can see
then
that.
on the flip side of that would be clear, is it clairgustance? It's the clear sense of smell.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you covered most of what I had over here. Metals are aluminum, mercury, and tin. Trees would be apple, ash, chestnut, elder, elm, fir, hawthorn, maple, oak, pine, and holly. Associated with spring. I think you said that.
Yeah.
And the time of day is the dawn, because you have to think of a new dawning. Again, we have those beginnings. Just like with spring, it's the beginnings. The thoughts are the thought is the beginning of creation. So anything having to do with something new, and bringing something new in, for sure. And you got the solar system? Did you say that already?
Yeah, Mercury and Jupiter.
I also have Uranus. Chakras, it's crown, heart, and throat, and associated also with the number 5. Okay, so I think that covers everything in the correspondences book. Now, I have a few more things I wanted to just talk about in general. This is coming from The Craft, A Witch's Book of Shadows by Dorothy Morrison. And she has the body of rulership being the chest and lungs, which makes sense because that's where you're breathing in that new life, or taking that pause to breathe and move through.
Right.
Now, I found some of what she had to say about the air element interesting. She said it carries both the qualities of humidity and dryness,
Okay.
and that air, it's very useful element because it can fuel fire and
Yeah.
give it power, but it can also change the structural density of water by turning it into fog, rain, sleet, snow, and ice.
Well, when you think about the water bearer, a fog it is essentially a cloud. Clouds are made of water particles. So it is, you know, air containing water.
Right. Now,
But I mean,
if you were to mix all three elements of water, fire, and air, you have things that take shape such as steam,
mhm,
smoke, or lightning.
right.
So the air element is very um, useful, but it's also it can work with the other elements to combine them and
Hmm.
change them. So I
Yeah.
thought that was very fun.
I mean, you think, fire in and of itself is not a bad thing.
Right.
Fire in the woods, not necessarily a bad thing. Fire combined with air in the woods, all of a sudden you've got half of California in the middle of a forest fire.
Right.
Um,
And in
but
that sense, you've got air, which is creating destruction also to earth.
right.
Maybe
On
tornado.
and on then on the other hand, what are hurricanes? But air taking water and making water destructive.
Right.
So it's definitely, too much is, can be bad, whereas just enough, you've got a nice, breezy day on the beach.
Right. So, and that's the whole thing. Like all of these elements have their good qualities and their destructive
Mhm.
qualities. And it's just how much are you adding in of each element to put it on which side of that spectrum.
Right.
Another thing that air is associated with strongly is weather magic.
Hmm.
You know, bringing in the clouds or moving the clouds, bringing in the rain, bringing in the snow, or removing these things. So, very, very highly associated with um, weather magic. And I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience, but if you're outside and you're working some magic and you ask for time, kind of confirmation, right? To know that, is this working? Have I been heard? And then out of nowhere, there's a gust of wind that confirms for you, yes, you are heard. This is real. I love when magical things like that happen because they're just such a great confirmation to have. I love it when the air element works and responds with you in that
Right.
physical way. So, some active pieces of the air element with people is cheerfulness, diligence, gentleness, inspiration, joy, optimism, and playfulness. So if you're bringing in a lot of that air for a good purpose, you'll have those kinds of things show up. Now, the passive side of air can show up as contempt, fickleness, gossiping, indecisiveness, ruthlessness, sneakiness, and weakness. Um, so it's like what side of the air polarity are you living in? Are you living in the
Right.
creative, inspired place, or are you living in the indecisiveness, the gossip, the sneakiness, those kinds of things? Which is not to say anything's right or wrong. They're just different ends of the spectrum, and we take turns, living in different areas.
Oh, yeah.
And where the weakness comes into play, like if you can't breathe and get a good full amount of breath in your lungs, that does tend to lead to weakness and
Hmm.
fatigue. Um, and that's why that air is so very, very important.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think about an athlete, you're working out, you breathe harder.
Yeah.
And it's because your muscles need more oxygen. You need more of the oxygen to fuel the muscles, and move it throughout. So, yeah, I mean, without having that, you would be weak.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, and you said before, air is the breath of life.
Yes.
Air is essential. You think you see someone lying on the ground, what's the first thing you do? You check them. Oh my God, are they breathing?
Mm-hmm.
If they're not, you do CPR and you give them,
Correct.
you're hoping to give them the breath of life.
Well, and that's like, again, talking about that dawning, that new beginning. The first thing a soul or a person does once they break through into this reality is take a breath.
Right.
It's the requirement for life. So if you don't hear that first cry to let you know that that infant just got their breath into their lungs that first time, we start to worry, like,
Oh yeah.
why is my baby not breathing?
Mm.
So it is very, very important. Um, Regardless of when you want to decide that that life is life, doesn't matter. It truly can't live, you know, in this world, in reality, on this earth until it has that breath of life.
And speaking of babies and breath, um, it was actually it said for centuries in England, it was believed, and I know there are a lot of people that still believe this. We had even talked about this, but in England, it was believed that cats would suck an infant's breath away.
Mm-hmm.
And
I just
it's,
heard that the other day.
yep. In 1791, a jury in Plymouth, England, convicted a cat of infanticide while, and also in 1929 in Nebraska,
Oh,
Nebraska,
throwback.
um, a doctor claimed to have witnessed a cat lying on the baby's chest, um, on and pressing its lips against the child's, and the baby was pale and essentially dead. So they were blaming the cat for the baby's death. Now,
Wow.
I think logical people would look at that and know, what do babies eat?
Maybe, Pamela, maybe.
Uh, but milk. And cats are, attracted, depending on where, cats should or shouldn't have milk, but you've always associated cats with dairy and cream.
They like
So
the milk.
is the cat taking the baby's breath away? Is the cat, suffocating the baby? It may happen on accident, laying on on a baby's chest, but it's not interested in taking the breath away. It's interested in the breath and the smell of the breath
So we
because
hope.
it's hmm,
So we
so
could go on a whole tangent about reincarnation and if people can reincarnate into animals and if there's something to do with that, like it was done intentionally.
oh no, now you're taking a whole deep dive.
I know that's a whole nother conversation, but it was one we started to have that conversation with Philip and Charles a couple weeks ago. We never got
Oh,
back to it. We were talking about familiars, and then that got us leading to, reincarnation and possibly coming back as animals. Um,
right.
and so there it is possible it was done intentionally by the cat. Who knows?
Pamela said she always wondered if that's part or came from babies sudden the
Sudden
SIDS.
infant death, yeah, sudden infant
Hmm.
death syndrome. Very possible. I mean, I know I had a cat, and when we found out we were having a baby, that my poor cat was one of the first things to go, because Rooster was like, "Nope, not taking any chances." So he, don't get me wrong, he is an incredibly loving home. And I get regular updates and pictures of him, and he is just as happy and as spoiled as he could possibly be. So I think everything happens for a reason because he is king of the mountain there.
I think going to that, you know, back when before, medical day and age, you're talking, probably 1800s, 19, even early 1900s, and previous, you didn't have explanations for everything.
Right.
There wasn't, um, you know, if your baby suddenly died, you have to consider that back then out of 10 kids, maybe 4 were going to survive. So, I mean, it, likelihood of making it to adulthood is not that great. Depending on how far back you go, your life expectancy might have been 35 years old. So, oh, my baby died. Well, it wasn't the malnutrition, it wasn't the disease, it wasn't any of that. It was the cat. The cat stole my baby's breath.
Or,
So
then there's the stories about the fairies and the changelings. And so, I mean, there's all kinds of things that it could possibly be. But yeah, that might be one of them. But that does go back ultimately to say how important that breath is, especially to newborns and them taking their first breath. We are at the 30-minute mark. Let's do a short, quick talk and catch you guys up on some of the things that we're doing and where you can find us. And then we'll get back to the air subject. So we worked this weekend and we posted up a bunch of new products on Etsy and our website. And don't forget, things are a little bit more expensive on our Etsy store because we are having to cover the cost of all the fees associated with Etsy. So it really helps us out more if you go shop directly at thewitchsource.com. But we've got new soaps posted up, some premium soaps posted up that go with our Clear and Protect line. We've also got some new Clear and Protect candles up to go with the Clear and Protect line. So we hope that you'll go check out all those new offerings. And our Clear and Protect Ritual Herb is now back in stock. And that's the blend herb that you can use in your rituals. So lots of new things available there. And sister, you want to tell them what we're doing Saturday?
Oh, we're going to be at Cook's Flea Market and helping out Art Elise. Was it Art Elise? No, Art
Arcana. Arts Arcanum.
Yeah, Elysium. That was the Johnny Depp trial. So, not that one.
No.
But yeah, we'll be in aisle E Saturday, helping Charles and Philip out, running their shop while they're out of town for the day. So definitely, if you're in the area, Winston-Salem area, come to Cook's Flea Market and check us out. We will have some of our product available there as well. We're kind of doing a little, pop-up table.
Yeah, so you can come check us out, see some of our products in person. We're going to bring mainly our signature lines because they sell some of the same stuff we do. Not a lot, but some.
Right.
So we're going to stick with our signature items. So if you want to come check out in person any of our Clear and Protect items, it will be this Saturday, August 20th, and we'll be there from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. just on Saturday, helping them out. And again, yes, it's on row E of Cook's Flea Market, and we'll post that up so you guys can find it. We'll post it in the group and on the page. Give you guys the address. So we would love for you to come out, say hi, and check out their shop and check out our products that we'll have there. And if you want, we can start scheduling to do readings in person. So we can look at doing some of that, or we can keep them on this platform, Zoom. So that's still a possibility, but we are now going to be able to do in-person readings during the week some. So if that's something you're interested, come on in. But to be able to find everything, make sure you are following us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribing on YouTube. We appreciate all the like, follows, and share. Tell your friends. We appreciate it. We're trying to get back and really active in the witchy community here in our area of Winston-Salem and surrounding areas. And we'd love to meet you guys in person. And we hope soon to be doing some classes and things in person by partnering with the Arts Arcanum. So a lot of fun things happening soon. And that's what's up with us. Anything else you wanted to add, sister?
Going on vacation next week.
Yes. Yay. Yes. We are going to be on vacation. We're leaving next Wednesday. And we'll be gone till the following Wednesday. So we are going to get some interviews recorded to play for you guys while we're gone, so the podcast can keep rolling on. Also, next Tuesday, we are starting something new and fun with Philip and Charles. We're going to have Astro Tuesday. And so we're going to tell you all about, well, Charles is going to tell you all about the planets and the moon phases and what's going on, what to expect for the next month. And then Philip will be there to give advice on what kind of magic we can do during that time frame. And of course, we will be there as well and help answer any questions you guys might have. So I'm super excited that we're going to be able to start offering that every month. So you guys know what is going on, right? Because sometimes it feels that way. It's like, what is this planet doing and why do I feel this way? And what magic can I do to deal? So
Right.
we're going to be offering that. And I'm super excited about it. So next Tuesday will be the first one. We'll be doing it live Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So hopefully you can join us. But if you don't catch it live, it will be on the podcast the next morning so that you guys can still hear it, check it out. It'll be a podcast episode and it will stay up everywhere to be available. So that's all the fun things going on. And we're hoping you guys are familiar with Miss Pamela Harder, who's in the group and helping us out. We're going to interview her. So hers will probably be the next one you see on Wednesday. So you guys can learn more about her and feel comfortable talking to her and asking her questions because she's very active in the group, you guys. And she is amazing. And hopefully we get an opportunity to start seeing more of her as well. So that's what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. And we hope that you will come out and say hi. All right. Yeah, Pamela just said hi, guys. All right. So back to air element and air magic. I have a couple of air magic spells to share with you guys, and a little bit more to say on the air element. Sister, what do you have?
I'm sorry. I got distracted by a shiny quarter. What did you say?
I said I have two spells I want to share and a little bit more to mention on air, the element of air, and then that's what I've got left. So, what do you have left, and where do you want to jump in?
Oh, no, let's jump into magic or rituals or whichever one you got.
Okay, I'll say a little bit more about air, and then we'll jump into some magic you guys can do. Okay, so, and some of this might be repetitive, but this is coming from Ellen Dugan, who you guys know is one of my favorites, from Natural Witchery. And she says the air is associated with the sky, wind, clouds, mountaintops, and birds of all sorts. It represents freedom and spaciousness, light and expansion. Ideas are said to come from the element of air, as does inspiration. The element of air is one of intellect that reflects the metaphysical principle of life, new life and beginnings. Anything that dawns, whether it's the dawn of the day or the thought of a thought that suddenly dawns on you, like those aha moments. You can give thanks to the air element for those. People who have a lot of air qualities in their personality will think before they feel. They are rational and intelligent. They have strong links to air people will have strong links to the element and will be very academic typically. They are fluently clever, witty, and express themselves clearly, whether it's through speaking or writing, especially since it's the element of communication. So they may be good at giving lectures and being entertaining teachers and just be able to carry on sharp and very witty conversations. They also will have several things going on with them at one time, as air people are the ultimate multitaskers. So here's the other side of that. Too much air can make them seem like they are absent-minded or that they appear to have their head in the clouds, hence airhead. Which I think, whether you're an air sign or not, I think we've all had these moments of being an airhead or having our head in the clouds.
I mean, I could totally be accused of that all the time.
They may be incredibly smart, but not able to remember or complete the most mundane of tasks. So that's another of having too much of that air element. as they spend too much time in their own heads and simply ignore the physical world around them. So that's okay. So having an air block. So this is like if you've got a blockage with air, the element of air, and this is for anybody. Terry said, "Why being a blonde with having an air sign?" LOL. Yeah, totally get it. So the airhead, that I could see. It's probably you. You probably deal with that a lot. And it's probably hard to remember to do things here in the physical because your brain's always going from one thing to the next, and you're multitasking and moving from one thing to the next way too fast, and maybe forgetting to complete tasks. I could definitely see that. Okay, so symptoms of air block may be that you're holding on to old ideas or outdated beliefs that no longer serve you.
Right.
So this would be an air block. So, and this goes hand in hand with doing some of that shadow work stuff, right? Like really looking at, okay, you could even work your shadow work by the elements because we've talked about these blocks as we've gone through the elements. So if you wanted to tackle your shadow work by element, you could go back and listen to the other element episodes as ideas of where to start. Terry said it's like a hamster turning in my head on a wheel. Yep. So, holding on to old ideas or outdated beliefs that no longer serve you. Another air block is if your creativity fizzles out. So, like if you're typically a very creative person and then that's gone, you have
Right.
an air block. If concentration becomes difficult for you, you have an air block. A classic example would be writer's block. So that's a problem with your air element. You need to get more balanced with your air element. The element of air embraces mental powers, intuition, and creative ideas and concepts. For when you believe in something, you are giving it life and creating the power that it has.
Oh, that totally makes sense.
Right.
Taking an idea and breathing life into it to make it a reality.
True. But this can also happen with things that aren't real, and we create problems for ourselves as well.
I know somebody guilty of that.
Oh, I'm totally guilty of that.
I know.
I'm totally guilty of that. Thinking like one little thing goes sideways, and then my brain starts to run like that hamster wheel. But it's all with a negative spin.
Oh, yeah.
And then it starts to become real. Like, oh my God, this is really happening to me when nothing has happened.
You
Legit, nothing has happened.
you
This
put
is not real.
take one comment, said one kind of way, and oh, well, they're just in a bad mood. Well, now we're going to fight,
Right.
and just you create this whole fight in your head, and the next thing you're like, no, we're not talking. We haven't talked all week because one sideways comment, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's the air element going to the negative side and becoming a block. So that's another way of looking at it. So an air block can be one of the most frustrating blocks to work through since
Mhm.
this element represents your mind. So you truly have to learn to master your mind. You have to learn when to shut it off, when to slow it down, when to turn it on,
Yeah.
how to properly use it. All those things.
Yeah, Pam said you put it all out there. Man, I've been dealing with this stuff all day. Not from her. It's I've been even reeling in my own crazy over here, trying to rein in everyone's crazy.
Yeah, Erin, go back and check out the water when we did the water one and see what the
Mhm.
blocks and stuff were there as well to try to work through and focus on.
Did we do
Uh,
the blocks in that one?
yeah, I'm pretty sure we did
Okay.
because I've got them all highlighted here. So I'm pretty
Okay.
sure we did the water blocks, and I think we did the fire blocks too.
Okay.
If you guys go back to those podcasts, the elemental magic podcasts, so far we've done fire, water, this is air, and we still have yet to do earth. But if you guys go back to those and you feel like we didn't touch on the blocks enough, and you want us to do a dedicated show just to the elemental blocks and how to work through them,
Yeah.
just send us an email, send us a message, and let us know. We'll be more than happy to readdress those and go through it.
Right.
So we just need to know what you guys want.
I like what Pamela said. Her grandmother was a witch and used to say, if you want something, whisper it to the wind, but be careful what you whisper because it'll come true. I
Yes.
totally relate to that.
Yes, absolutely agree with that for sure.
So, y'all, my house caught on fire again last weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I got cold and I wanted to turn my air down or, turn my air up, but I knew my husband would get mad if I turned that air up. So the air caught on fire in the house. It was the blower part in the house. So, yeah.
She has to be careful with her wishing magic because apparently she's got a fire fairy that likes to grant her wishes. So, yeah, lots of fun.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But it does work with this topic because it was the blower, the fan to my house. So,
right.
That air was putting smoke.
Right, yeah. Okay, so yes, it's one of the most frustrating blocks to work with because the air represents your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's especially troublesome because the down and dirty definition of magic is mind over matter. That's what we are doing with magic. Everything starts in the mind and we're turning it into matter. So right. Mind over matter, that is a down and dirty definition of magic. And so you have to get control of the mind. And it takes practice. You've got to be persistent and dedicated with staying on top of your mind. What are you thinking in any given moment? Mm-hmm. Do you need to shift whatever you're thinking about? Do you need to just hit the pause button, hit the stop button? Do you need to take that fresh breath, that pause and go, wait, I'm not going to think that anymore because that's not what I truly want to create. Whether it's something good, bad, negative. If it's just right. Roll, take the pause, take the break to slow down the thought process.
And that's hard to do. I was talking with my daughter-in-law about that this morning is something she struggles with. And even at times something I struggle with is just stopping the mind, thought process. But she said that it's really neat. So when there's something that she doesn't want to think that anymore, she, that it isn't healthy, it isn't good, I don't want this thought in my head. She imagines a fireplace in her mind and she takes that thought and chucks it in the fire.
I freaking love that.
Right? So, I mean,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Your 13-year-old is a genius.
No, that was Sierra.
Oh, that was Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your daughter-in-law is a genius. I love that idea. If you're running with something, just take it and chuck it in the fireplace in your mind. Yep. I freaking love that. That is a way of doing mind over matter because you're taking all that and you're like, nope.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that one. That one was all hers.
Cool. Yeah, Terry said she agrees. Great idea. Absolutely.
Go
ahead.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of her, so she's actually moving back home, hopefully in a few short months. I get my grandbaby all the time. And she's very much into herbs and tinctures and tonics and wanting to cultivate our property here. So hopefully when she does move back, there will be other great herbs and products that, you guys are interested in, or if you have herbal questions, home remedies, medicinal questions, that's going to be something that she can definitely help you with.
Yes, the herbal witch is coming home to stay.
Yes.
So we'll have even more cool things going on. And you guys, she's going to help maybe keep my baby girl, which will free me up to do more of this. Be live with you guys, get back to doing the readings, get back to doing more lives. and talking about more things, which is what I love, because it's and making more products. So we'll free up to make time for products, because we got all kinds of cool stuff we want to offer. I just went and spent a lot of money on some really cool witchy material to make some bags and altar cloths and stuff that I think you guys are going to love. And I cannot wait to add them to our collection. Okay, so back to the air.
Yes.
So what you can do when your mind is running away or you get those blocks, right? You can distract yourself with physical objects. Okay. So when we're in our airspace up here and things are going crazy, we can make that stop by bringing in the physical. It takes us out of our mind and into the present and what is in front of us. So you want to do things like go take a walk outside and don't run in your head. No, take the walk outside, enjoy nature. Focus on what do you see? What are the trees that you're seeing? What are the animals that you're seeing? What are the noises that you're hearing? Do you feel that wind, on your shoulders like I do right now? And really stay present in what you're doing. Okay, that is more one of the most useful ways is to get present with what you're doing, because then your thoughts have to stop and focus on what you're doing. It gives you a chance to have that reset. Okay. And it links you, right? So going outside in that physical, it's also going to ground you, which is what you want to do when your mind is doing that. So you can either, like I said, go outside, connect with nature that way, or do your grounding visualization, right? Go hit up that grounding, connecting, centering meditation on the podcast that you can find. It's also on YouTube or on the podcast. But ground and push those roots into the earth. That's going to also reset that mental, so it's not running away with you anymore. So if you're able, you can also ignite a little fire. Like if you can go outside and if you've got a fireplace, or if you can do a bonfire outside, that's going to give you something to hit pause, get your mind off of where it's running away with you, and get more in touch. You can also add some romance in. That's going to definitely shift your mind into something else. If you're starting to think in the romantical passion sort of way. And you can also link with the element of water by going for a swim, taking a bath, going and putting your feet in a river or a lake, those kinds of things. But the bottom line is you have to distract yourself to turn off your brain and to stop thinking so hard. And that will give you a chance to reset that pattern. I definitely love the idea of visualizing the fireplace and throwing it all into the fire. That was fabulous. Great suggestion. Yeah, exactly, Pamela. Exactly. Oh, Terry. Okay, she's the one problem I'm legally blind. Okay, so Terry, what you could do is, try taking a bath or just putting your feet in some water. That would work. You could get like a bucket and fill it full of dirt and put your feet in that. That'll be a way to connect with that earthing element to slow down the brain as well.
Yeah,
so
I think
other options.
Focusing on the feels around you and the sounds.
Right. Just even if you can't see what's going on outside, what do you hear? What do you feel? Can your feet at least touch the earth or the ground, the grass? At my house, I try to go sit on the moss and get connected in that way. But I have, like in the middle of winter, you can't go outside and put your feet in the dirt. You can go get a bucket of dirt and bring it inside and put your feet in it and get earth that way as well. It totally works.
Right.
It works. Sand works just as well. So it could be a bucket of sand. Stick your feet in that and get grounded. But they're really going to be ways that help pull down the overactivity of the mind and that over having too much air element going on. And then you want to focus on and try to work through, okay, what's causing this? Am I stressing and worrying about things I don't need to? Am I focusing on the wrong thing? Am I missing details? Then you still want to go back and try to analyze what's going on, but you're doing it from a more grounded, centered, more balanced, elementally balanced space to start working on that block.
Yeah, Terry. So me being, harder of hearing, where I actually wear hearing aids. So, where you focus on things you can hear, feel, I would focus more on things I can see, smell, feel. It's getting your other senses involved.
Right. Yeah. And Pamela said, I carry a little bottle of lavender in my pocket. So when she's feeling that way, she can smell it. That's also great. Great way to do it. It's just to snap you out of it, right? Like
Yeah,
snap it out of it and say, okay, mind, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to actually be useful and productive.
right.
So yeah. And you want to try to do, all you want to do is try to take a break. That's what it's all about. Just taking that break, breaking whatever's going on in your mind, taking that mental break. So that way the inspiration can flow back in to your mind and to your life in its own way, in its own time, and without any kind of expectation attached to it.
Yeah, it's like, how many times have you heard, you know, when you're looking to date somebody, they're not there. But when you decide to give up, and just stop, that's when somebody comes along. I don't know if
Right.
everyone's familiar with that, but it's,
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you stop, it allows that, or people, trying to have a kid, and they're, that's all they're consumed with that, and
And
they
then
get
once they give
frustrated.
up,
Yep.
once they
Boom,
get
you're
frustrated
pregnant.
and give up, it happens.
Yep. So yeah, it's totally just stopping, take a break from it, and allow the process to happen
Yeah,
naturally.
let it unfold.
Yeah.
Sister, do you have any spells you'd like to share?
Well, let me go back to my notes because, I didn't need them at the time. Do you have any?
I have two, but I need
Okay.
to go take care of something really quick. So I was going to let you share something while I'm gone.
Okay. Well, you guys get to talk to me.
Okay, a memento, and I'll be right back. And then I have two spells I want to share.
Okay. So we know that air can be cleansing. Um, taking, your charcoal or your incense or any of that, and just fire safe vessel, putting your incense and burning that with the intention of clearing the air around you. And as you're doing that, and as you're letting the air cleanse around you, taking deep breaths of whatever air-based incense that you're burning, and that would be, as we discussed, the frankincense or myrrh, or anyone, that you're drawn to. I do like frankincense and myrrh, but there are a lot of scents out there. You can go back and listen or look them up. I do love clover. It says clover. I don't know what clover smells like. um but then, just, when it comes to your altar, incorporating air elements into that, when you are doing your magic, you can use feathers, or using a fan, putting a fan on your altar. um, like when my husband and I got married, even though he very much doesn't believe in anything outside, we did have a friend of ours who is Native American do a blessing, and it involved, sweetgrass and a feather. I can't remember. Was that an eagle feather? I think I showed it to you, right? It might have been an eagle
Probably hawk.
or hawk. But there was the fanning of the smoke as he walked around us, and making sure, like when you sage, that it was incorporated all around us. So, okay, go ahead.
I saw Aaron's comment of begrudgingly familiar with it. LOL. Aaron, you made me giggle out loud. Okay, so is this a good point to jump in with a couple spells?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I've got two last spells to leave with you guys. Let's see. This one. Okay, this one is for prosperity. Okay, so this is for when you want to cause a shifting in the winds of change, and you want to bring in more prosperity into your home. Okay. So what you'll need is a wind chime,
Mhm.
and it doesn't really matter. Ooh, I can hear myself. Let me turn that down. Okay, and it doesn't really matter what the wind chime is. It can be celestial, birds, fairies, and it could be metal or wood. It doesn't really matter, fancy or plain, whatever you want, go for it. Just the wind chime. Okay, and it helps to, if you're able to have it face the east, since east is the direction of air. And this is going to help to enhance your home for
Mhm.
prosperity. So you're going to hold the wind chime facing east, and you're going to say, "These magical wind chimes now ring out for me, a homey charm for abundance and prosperity. Merrily do you announce the sweeping winds of change. Banish poverty and dread, shut it out of range. Now ring in good cheer, wealth and abundance so true. Lord and lady, please bless me in all that I do." And then you want to hold it or put it up, and wait until it actually starts chiming, which
Mhm.
you're working the magic. So again, it's like when I said, like, when the wind comes through, you've been heard. So you're going to
Right.
wait for that wind to come through. And when you hear the wind chime, you're going to finish it off by saying, "By all the powers of 3 times 3, as I will it, then so shall it be."
Pamela asked if you could post that in the site.
Yes, I will post it into the Facebook group, not the page. So if you want it, you're going to have to get in the group, which is the Witch Source Society.
Yes.
And I will post it in there for sure. So this one is to bring and ring in prosperity, and it's a good one. So, and I love wind chimes. They're good too to just like clear out stagnant energy, which is what we're going to look at this second spell. Okay, so this second spell is good to like clear out the home. If you want to bring in timing, it's good to do it on a Wednesday,
Today's
because then you
Wednesday.
can also bring in the power of the planetary power of Mercury, which is going to bring in speed as well,
Okay.
because that's, Mercury is all about speed as well. Um, so this is good to do like if you've had people in your home and you can't sage, but you feel like they've left some like negative stuff behind and you want to clear your house, but you don't want to sage it, or you can't sage, or you don't have any of our spray, which is great, will help you clear out your home and space of any nasty energies left behind. You can do this spell, and it doesn't have to be on a Wednesday, but it does help. So you're going to get one blue candle, a candle holder, 4 blue lace agate stones tumbled, and a picture of your home, um, and or a picture of your family, including your pets. So anybody that lives in the home.
Okay.
So, or you could ideally have a picture of your family and pets inside the home, or maybe outside in front of the home on the front porch, something like that. Something that can incorporate, or do 2 pictures, one of the house and then one of the family. Okay. So you're going to set the photo up on something where you can see it, and you'll put your blue candle in front of it in its holder. Again, never leave a candle unattended.
Mhm.
And then you're going to take the 4 blue lace agates and you're going to put them in a circle around the candle. Okay, and start in the east for the element of air. So you'll start on the east side. And as you're placing the stones, you'll say, "Blue lace agates, lend me your power. Cleanse this home in this time and hour. Around this candle, I create a ring. These 4 blue lace agates are just the thing." So you're going to say that as you get them placed in the ring around the candle. And then you're going to light the candle and just hold your hands kind of spaced out around it. don't burn yourself, but like hold your hands around it. And then you're going to say, I now call the 4 elements on this night. On the wings of wind, I quickly set things to right. By blue lace agates and candle flame, the spell is begun. Now remove all negativity and let it harm none. So then you'll just let your candle burn out. And then you're going to place those 4 blue lace agate pieces at each corner of your home or your room or whatever area you're working within. But you'll place them in each of the 4 corners. And that's going to help keep the spell moving and help get it quickly cleaned out. And it'll reinforce the cleansing and help to keep it clean. So, and then if you feel like the next time something starts to feel heavy or whatever, you can go get those 4, scoop them back up, let them charge outside in the sun for 30 minutes or an hour, and then redo the spell if you feel like you need to re-clear your home again. So those are 2 fun spells that you can do. So one's for clearing and protecting, and then the other one is to bring in prosperity. So hopefully you guys like those. I'll put those both up in the group. And other than that, I think that's it for me.
Oh,
good. Pamela said there's another home protection spell that she posted on the site also. So cool. You guys can go check all that out in the Facebook group, and I'll post these in the Facebook group after I get the podcast episode itself posted up. And yeah, that's it, you guys. Don't forget, share, like, subscribe, follow. And if you have questions, let us know. If there's episodes you want to hear or have us talk about, let us know. We would be more than happy to do them. Like I said, we're going to start doing the Zodiac ones. So we'll cover those as we go through the Zodiac year. And we'll do a deeper dive into each Zodiac. So if that's something you're looking forward to, I would go ahead and find out what your sign is, your moon sign, your sun sign, and your rising sign, because those are the 3 that we'll talk about for each Zodiac. So, all right, you guys, until next week, or until we see you guys again, hopefully you guys come out Saturday and see us at the flea market. I'll post up that address and location too. And yeah, have a great week, you guys. Stay magical.
Bye.
Bye.